We would like to tell you about the American political system. In America, the political system is very different from the one we know of in Denmark. The legislative branch in the US is the Congress. The Congress deals with law processing posted by either the President or the Congress itself. The Congress is divided into two separate organs, the House of Representatives and the Senate. In order to pass a law, all three organs, the House of Representatives, the Senate and the President, need to agree through a democratic process. The democratic process can be explained by the figures below. We will start by looking at the voters. They vote for the President and vote for the Congress. If you were a Democrat, you would want both Democrats to be President and to sit in the Congress, making the process of lawmaking go more smoothly. The Congress is very comparable to how we choose Folketinget in Denmark. Opposed to the Danish system, after the President is elected, he chooses the government or the administration. They function as the executive powers, just like in Denmark. The people sitting in the Senate are also elected by the people of America. Each state has the power to elect 2 people representing them, a total of 100. The senators has a 6-year period in the Senate. Remember that the Congress is the 2 organs, the House of Representatives and the Senate. We are now looking at the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives is elected by members, but are not equally divided in states. The bigger population a state has, the more you are allowed to have. For an example, California can elect 53 members, where North Dakota can only elect 3 members to sit in the House of Representatives. The elected are either Democratic or Republican, so when it comes to the lawmaking process, it's a huge advantage if both the Senate and the House of Representatives has a majority of either Democrats or Republicans, because it makes it easier for the President to pass laws. The picture you're looking at are the votes from the 2010 election, where you can see that the majority of the United States has voted Republicans to sit in the House of Representatives. This makes it difficult for Obama to pass laws. The third and final branch is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court interprets the American Constitution. If there are any disagreements on law issues, for example Obamacare, it's up to the Supreme Court to interpret the Constitution in order to decide who of the parties is right. This is decided through a democratic process. Majority votes wins. Obama had big issues voting through Obamacare, mainly because people meant it was against the liberal freedom rights, which was stated in the Constitution. People thought that the 1% tax the welfare model would cost was against their freedom rights, because they didn't choose to pay the tax raise. It doesn't take a majority of the Congress's 2 organs to take a law to the Supreme Court. Obamacare was taken to the Supreme Court, where he ended up winning and passing through the law. However, there's a twist in the election of the judges of the Supreme Court. It's the President who chooses the judges who will stay there for life. There are currently 9 judges sitting in the Supreme Court, all chosen by different presidents in our time. Of course, President Obama chooses a democratic-friendly judge, making Obamacare pass through easier. The President and the House of Representatives has a veto right. The President can use it whenever an organ of the Congress has passed a law. The President can veto the law. If the President tries to pass a law, the House of Representatives needs 2/3 in order to overrule his decision. Beside the veto right, the Congress has the right to make an impeachment on the President. If the President is abusing his position or commits criminal offenses, the House of Representatives can charge an impeachment on the President, and the Senate judge him or her either innocent or guilty. If he's found guilty, he must immediately leave his position as President. This happened in 1973, where the House of Representatives charged Richard Nixon because of the Watergate affairs, but Nixon decided to leave before the impeachment was sustained. To end with, we would like to point out the pros and the cons of the presidential system. One of the biggest advantages of the presidential system is that the power is not concentrated around one single person. Laws which the president suggests has to be accepted by both the Senate and the House of Representatives. And if there's any chance that the law is contrary to the Constitution, the Supreme Court has to overrule one of the disagreeing parties, either passing the law or refuse it. This procedure also shows that the three instances are in principle independent of each other. The presidential system retains the individual freedom, and the government can't overrule the individual freedom. So it's the people's countries and not the country's people. This freedom right is described in the Constitution, and it's deeply incorporated in the American people's national identity. Another advantage about the presidential system in America is that the presidential terms are relatively short, which exclude the same president sitting for 50 years or more. A president is only able to sit on the presidential office for a maximum of 8 years. There are several disadvantages about the presidential system in America too. Even though the three instances are in principle independent of each other, this is not the reality. There are 9 Supreme Court judges which are housed by different presidents. If the president is a Democrat, he will most likely be inserting a judge of the same political beliefs as himself and reversed. Today there are 9 Supreme Court judges, and 5 of them are housed by Republican presidents and 4 housed by Democrats. The same judges are sitting in the Supreme Court until they die or decide to retire, and 2 of the Supreme Court judges were housed by the Republican President Ronald Reagan in 1986. This suggests that there is some lack of rejuvenation. Another of the disadvantages about the presidential system is that the president ends up being a sitting duck. He's incapable of making decisions, especially if he doesn't have a majority in the Senate or the House of Representatives. It's a normal situation to end up with a Democratic president and a Congress with a majority of Republicans, and it makes it tremendously difficult to pass a law. Whenever the Supreme Court has to pass a law, they make a decision based on the Constitution. The problem with the Constitution is that it is a bit outdated. The Constitution was written on the 17th of September 1787, and it doesn't include new issues like abortion, and the Supreme Court judges can interpret the Constitution in favor of either the Republican or of the Democrats. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed it.